Arsenal's 2013-14 season under Arsene Wenger was the club's highest finish in the Premier League since 2008. While towards the end of his tenure he was certainly viewed as past his prime, there was no denying the success he brought to the club. However, the 2013-14 year is unique in that the tactics Wenger deployed regularly utilised 4 and even sometimes 5 central midfielders. Perhaps the most common theme within his Arsenal teams was their ability to play fast-paced and intricate attacking football, with breathtaking goals played in brilliant 1-2 combinations as the hallmark. This tactical analysis written by Total Football Analysis will highlight the brilliance behind Arsene Wenger's 2014 season and the key components in what made their attacking football so unique. Welcome back to another Football Manager tactic video where we break down a tactic from in real life and then trying to implement that into the game. Today's tactic is Wengerball. This was requested by a viewer. I believe they wanted Wengerball from 2013 to 18, but we do have the 2013-14 season tactic, and that is what we're going to replicate into Football Manager. If you believe you're going to like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment which tactic you would like to see next, share it, just engage in the video. Of course, that will help out the channel, but for now, let's get stuck in. One of the crucial aspects of Wenger's 2013-14 team was utilising the 4-2-3-1 formation. However, the group typically defended in a relatively flat 4-4-2 and would quickly shift into a diamond in the midfield, gaining possession, allowing Wenger to regularly deploy athletic and pacey wing-backs in Kieran Gibbs and Bakary Sagna, who would join during the attacking sequences. Using these tactics for the fullbacks also allowed Wenger to play up to 5 central midfielders on match day, creating numerical advantages for Arsenal in the centre of the pitch and regularly allowing them to control possession. Another important aspect of deploying 5 central midfielders allowed for fluid movement between them all. While typically it was Mikel Arteta or Mathieu Flamini playing as the pivot or holding midfielder on the match day, the entire group during that season was comfortable receiving the ball from a centre back in low positions. One of the most common movements seen within this group was Mesut Ozil playing as the attacking midfielder, stepping higher as a second forward, which in turn vacates the 10 space, allowing for either of the wingers to move centrally, while the other drops lower to create a diamond centrally, ultimately creating a 2-3-2 attacking shape with Arteta sitting in front of the 2 centre-backs in order to prevent dangerous counter-attacks. The true brilliance in deploying these tactics for this group was understanding that any player within the team could take up any of those attacking positions, oftentimes resulting in players moving in and out of their typical or numerical role, making them unpredictable and that much tougher to defend. While Wenger's decision to utilise groups of 4 and 5 central midfielders is what allowed this group to control possession in matches, it was his decision to utilise 2 number 10s in combination with their attacking principles that created their brilliance going forward. The genius in allowing one of the 10s to sit higher almost as a second forward and allowing a winger to then take up the natural 10 position was vital in their creative fluid attacking style. It also allowed opportunities for players such as Mesut Ozil, Cazorla and Rosicky to take turns in defending in central midfield, therefore splitting the defensive work in half for each player and in turn allowing them both to be effective and fresh as possible when they are able to transition in possession and attacking sequences. During the 13-14 season, the way in which Arsenal looked to get in behind their opponent's back line in possession was through the use of quick 1-2s near the opposition's 18-yard box. A brilliant example of this came in Arsenal's win against Norwich, with perhaps one of the club's most famous goals today. This analysis was to show how the creativity of this Arsenal team in the 13-14 season was a product of Wenger's genius as a manager. He recruited a group of high IQ, athletic and technically gifted players. He gave them parameters in which he wanted them to attack other teams, utilising 1 central forward and 2 number 10s or playmakers, and surrounding them with central midfielders who always wanted the ball, and in fullbacks who understood where available spaces was to go forward either wide or inside, and it created a fluid attacking style that we may never see replicated. His genius was truly in his tactics, and now in Football Manager we are going to try and replicate that. So we will look at the results that this brilliant 4-2-3-1 Wengerball did achieve at Arsenal. In the Premier League, we did finish second on 91 points, Liverpool with 93 points. Liverpool basically unstoppable throughout this season. In the Friendly Cup though, we did win that. So we did win a trophy, but we also won a European trophy, beating Atletico Madrid in the final of the Europa League 3 Arsenal and Jesus opened their account with a penalty in the 7th minute, and then Kieran Tierney picks up the ball, drives towards the box, plays it back to Thomas. Here is Martinelli in the edge of the box, plays it to Saka, and what a lovely finish that is by Saka, one of our own. And for the final third goal, here Saka whips in the ball to Gabriel Jesus' head, and it's an easy goal. Kane Edwards and Cozy Adubri travelling with the squad, but they did not make their Arsenal debuts in the Europa League final. In the Emirates FA Cup, we got knocked out in the 4th round by Norwich, losing 2-0 at Carrow Road. And in the Carabao Cup, we got knocked out in the 4th round by Sheffield United, 3-1 at Bramall Lane to Sheffield United. So we've been knocked out by 2 championship teams in the domestic cups. Arsenal didn't score the most goals, but they did score their fair share of goals with 81 goals. And looking at the most possession as well, Arsenal coming 4th with 54% of the ball. So Wenger's ball did look to dominate against most teams in the league, but you will have noticed that Arsenal have the fewest conceded with 20 goals conceded. For the most goals, Haaland smashing it, 38 goals in 31 starts for Erling Haaland, but Gabriel Jesus managed to score 18 goals in 32 starts. Looking at the most assists as well, Gabriel Jesus makes this list in 6th place, or joint 6th place, with 9 assists. Martin Ødegaard with the most key assists in the Premier League, 135. Most clean sheets, Aaron Ramsdale with 22. For the most tackles won, nobody's there, most dribbles made. Kieran Tierney surprisingly makes the list, best pass completion, nobody there. And most man of the match awards, Martin Ødegaard in 5th place with 6. So looking at some of the key results, we went to Stamford Bridge on the opening day of the season and we lost 2-1. Raheem Sterling scoring right on the death of the first half, but we did beat Tottenham Hotspur at the Emirates 4-0. We also beat Liverpool at the Emirates. We went to the Etihad Stadium, got a 1-1 draw away to Manchester City. We went to Old Trafford, we lost 2-1. Saka getting sent off in the 32nd minute and Ronaldo scoring a double. At home, we did beat Manchester City 2-0. Gabriel Jesus scoring against his former club in the 45th minute. Emil Smith-Rowe completing the scoring in the 46th minute. And we also beat Chelsea at home 3-1. I'm not sure I mentioned the Anfield result. Let's look at this Anfield result. If we scroll down a little bit, yes, there it is. We did lose 3-0. Darwin Núñez, Van Dijk and Mohamed Salah all on the score sheet. We did beat Manchester United at home at the Emirates with Saka getting a double. We also knocked out Manchester United in the Europa League semi-final before beating Atletico in that final. But finally, let's look at the tactic, but also we want to see how this tactic plays out. What you are witnessing right now is the brilliant Wengerball 4-2-3-1, and you will have noticed we have 3 playmakers in the team. We're trying to replicate that high IQ, high intelligence type of football. So on the left hand side, we do have an advanced playmaker, we do have an enganche, and we do have a deep lying playmaker. At the start though, I did go a little bit OTT. We did go a bit over the top. So Partey was a defensive midfielder. He was a deep line playmaker on defense, and Saka was an advanced playmaker on support. It did play really nice football, but there was hardly any penetration, which let the tactic down, especially in transition. So it did help when I moved Saka into an inverted winger, which is a better role for Saka anyway. And for Partey, I made him a central midfielder on defense. It also stops kind of people doing the exact same things. Partey and Xhaka both being deep line playmakers, their movements will be similar, one on defend and the other on support. It didn't really make too much of a difference, and of course playing with 2 advanced playmakers on the flanks, you might get similar movements. But Arsene Wenger was also about unpredictability, so an inverted winger did add some unpredictability in our attack. So looking at the player roles, you can see my Wengerball ideas trying to take place or trying to go into practice. So we do have a central midfielder on defend, and what we want from him is to be able to drop deep to receive the ball from one of the central defenders or any of the defenders. But then we will have Zinchenko and we will have Tomiyasu both breaking forward, possibly into the midfield lines, and then we have Emil Smith-Rowe possibly cutting inside and the inverted winger cutting inside as well, as both of them are asked to sit more narrow. So we will have kind of this shape in possession. What we won't have, which Arsene Wenger did like to do, is have this enganche go further forward into the attack line and basically make a 2. And then in real life, what would also happen as well, maybe this inverted winger could drop deep to receive the ball, and there we kind of create our diamond in midfield. But instead we have our own idea ideas, which of course isn't too distant from Arsene Wenger's ideas. Of course, ours was heavily influenced. We do want Partey still to be coming in deep. Then we have Zinchenko and Tomiyasu getting further forward. Zinchenko being a little reluctant getting further forward there. And now we have Xhaka, our deep line playmaker, on the left-hand side of the midfield, just holding his position, kind of similar to what Wengerball would do as well. But this is where the difference comes in now. When we're on the break or in transition, what would happen? Saka a lot of the times will now take up this position rather than the attacking midfielder. The Enganche looks to link the midfield and the attack, so he may come deep to collect the ball, and then we have our advanced playmaker coming in narrowly and taking up that number 10 spot. And now we still have the exact same shape, but it just happens differently. Now to focus on the instructions, we will be playing positively. We will be stretching the pitch as well with a wider attacking width. For the passing directness, we haven't changed it. We left it on default, which is slightly shorter, so we still are possession based and being patient in possession with a tempo on extremely high, trying to get those combinations, that fast play and that fast intricate play as well. We are going to be playing out from the back, the creative freedom. We want to be more expressive. We want to allow our attacking players to break away from the tactical, well, their tactical responsibility. In the final third, low crosses and working the ball into the box. When we are in transition, we are going to try and counter press to win the ball back. When the goalkeeper's in possession, look to distribute the ball to the centre backs or the full backs. Basically, just keep possession when we are trying to build out from the back. And lastly, for out of possession, we are going to try and press the opponent. So a higher line of engagement, a higher defensive line. The defensive width is set to standard. The trigger press is set to much more often. We are not preventing the short goalkeeper distribution. Maybe I touched on this in the last video as well, but it does change your defensive shape, especially when the opposition have the ball with their goalkeeper. What happened for me is that my two wingers kept coming in very, very narrow, and it just left the opposition's fullbacks in acres of space, and it was just easy for the AI to pass the ball into the space. Whereas if I just left it on, well, just left it like this, these two will hold their positions, marking the opposition's fullbacks. We have our striker engaging in the 2 or 3 centre backs, and then we have our Enganche just right behind him. So we are still technically preventing that short goalkeeper distribution by a much more often trigger press and a higher line of engagement. And lastly, get stuck in, which doesn't have to be on. You can remove that. It's similar in transition. You can use counter if you want. Sometimes in Football Manager that works better, but not all the times, as it can leave you exposed. And unfortunately, that wraps up this beautiful Wengerball. But that's not all. Tactically, we do have to see how this tactic plays out, because I mean, it's just wonderful to watch. Beating Tottenham, our local rivals, was always going to be a wonderful feeling, but if you add the brilliant football on top of that, then it's even better. Arsenal 20 shots to Tottenham Hotspur's 5, 12 on target to their 2. Our XG on 2.92. Gabriel Jesus scoring a hat-trick in his debut season, but let's have a look at the beautiful goals. Here's Ødegaard, plays it to Zinchenko, but then cuts out the pass before it gets to Harry Kane. The ball falls to Martinelli. Jesus now here. Emil Smith-Rowe plays it back to Jesus, and nice combination play in and around that 18-yard box. For the second goal, Gabriel plays it to Ødegaard, to Martinelli, to Part. I mean, it's just going to everybody at this point. And Martinelli, cool finish in front of goal. Ice cold, baby. Here's the third goal. Zinchenko breaks away, plays it to Martinelli. He pulls it back to Emil Smith-Rowe. A lovely through ball to Jesus, and he just absolutely smashes it. Another brilliant goal. Here's for the fourth and final goal. I mean, it's a defensive mistake, and there it is, 4-0 to the boys. Another high-scoring game as Arsenal beat Newcastle 4-1 at the Emirates Stadium. Gabriel Jesus getting a rest. A few key players getting a rest for this game. Eddie Nketiah starting today and takes his chance. So for the first goal, Newcastle clear the ball. It falls to Ben White, and he brings the ball forward and plays a pass eventually to Eddie Nketiah. He plays it out wide to Tomiyasu. He, well, tries to whip it in. It's going to hit the crossbar, and the ball falls to Eddie Nketiah. What a fortunate goal. Here's Eddie Nketiah, plays it to Ødegaard. What a pass to Kieran Tierney. He plays it into the box to Nketiah. a nice little combination play, and Partey with a lovely finish into the far post. Here's the third goal now. Holding with the ball, plays it to Ødegaard. Ben White on the right hand side. Here's Vieira. Ooh, plays it to Nketiah, and a nice finish, and simple finish too. But here's Newcastle's goal. Rob Holding on the ball. Ben White plays it to Ødegaard, and it gets cut out by the ball winner Joe Linton, and Wilson with a nice finish. Consolation as Arsenal grab a fourth now. Here's Kieran Tierney, Eddie Nketiah, Partey, Emile Smith-Rowe, Ødegaard. There's so many players involved, and what a hit. Emile Smith-Rowe, what a hit. This game we was slightly fortunate to come away with a 4-1 win away at Leeds at Ellen Road, a very difficult place to come to and get some points. So for the first goal, and it was a really beautiful goal, here's Martinelli, plays it to Ødegaard. El Nene, just watch or count how many passes are involved in this move. Here's Ødegaard to Holding to White. White brings it forward now. This is the patient build-up as well, so it doesn't matter that our tempo is extremely high. We will still have this very, very patient build-up that we're witnessing right now. Saka to Tomiyasu, and what a pass to Eddie Nketiah, and Leeds were just sliced open. It was too easy. Leeds did equalise though. Ramsdale to Ben White against his former club. Lokonga plays it straight into Rodrigo's pass. Rodrigo, and Bamford finishes the ball. But Arsenal regained their lead not too long after. Kieran Tierney out on this wide flank. Is he going to pull it back? No, he hits it hard and low, and Eddie Nketiah with his poachers-like finish makes it 2-1 to the Gunners. Here's Tomiyasu. Saka plays it into Ødegaard, plays it to El Nene. El Nene out wide to Martinelli, and lovely knockdown into Nketiah for... Is that his hat-trick? Well, yeah, of course it's his hat-trick because he scored all the goals in this game. Here's Partey to Zinchenko to Vieira. He finds Cedric. We all saw that pass hard and low. Look at the football. Look at the football. And for the final highlight before we close this Wengerball video, another London derby as Arsenal this time beat Chelsea 3-1 at the Emirates Stadium. And it starts off with a throw-in. Cedric with a throw here. I mean, he's picking up the ball inside. He's trying to take a throw. Oh, I thought he was trying to take a throw-in on the pitch. And Emile Smith-Rowe just skips past Kante as if he just wasn't there. Zinchenko puts the ball into the box, plays it to Jesus, and lucky slice of luck there. The ball does come off the goal defender and into the net. Here's Kieran Tierney, Partey, Martinelli. Shots blocked, falls back to Martinelli. And just look how many players Arsenal have in the box, always ready for that combination play. Here's Cedric, plays it out wide to Zinchenko. Zinchenko plays it into Emile Smith-Rowe. Again, inside the box, there's the 1-2. There's the 1-2 that we're looking for. Zinchenko, 3-0. And now here's Chelsea's goals. Let's just sit here and watch it because we have to. I mean, Sterling's on the ball, Havertz, Mount, that's poor defending, and yeah, 3-1, but who cares? Arsenal ended this game with a 3-1 victory, and unfortunately that wraps up this video. If you guys have enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment as well if you have any tactical recommendations, but it's always appreciated if you just engage in the video because that can help this channel out a lot. But that wraps up this video. I will see you guys soon. Stay safe. Shout out to my Patreons as well. One love. God bless.